Paul says in 126, he says, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards when you came to Jesus. Not many of you were influential. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. He chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. Does this mean that we shouldn't have an education, or we shouldn't try to make money, or we shouldn't try to be smart or skilled? Or no. Paul was one of the most educated Jews maybe to ever live. But later in chapter 2 he says, but I've resolved to know nothing except for Jesus Christ. Six years ago I sat with a pastor from the jungle, and I'm going to call him Pastor Tom just to honor his privacy, but just FYI, there's nobody named Tom in the jungle. But I was sitting with Pastor Tom through a translator, and I was asking about his life, and he was telling me about his ministry, and he was talking about how he would fill his canoe up and go to the jungle with his family for 3 days out of the week, and he would preach in the church, and he and his wife and his daughter, they'd sleep in a hammock in the church. And he had just gotten the most menial job you could ever possibly imagine. And with that menial job, he made just enough a week to fill up his canoe with fuel to go to his ministry assignment. And as I was talking with Pastor Tom, the translator just turned to me and she said, by the way, this is a very simple man. She wasn't being derogatory or offensive or anything. She was just simply saying, this is not an educated person. Because I don't speak the language, so I can't always tell, And this is a simple man. We continued on, and I was hearing about his ministry. It was amazing. 6 years later, I'm at this pastor's conference, and Pastor Tom is there, and I'm so excited to see him because he's a good friend of mine now, he and his wife. And another guy comes up and he starts talking to me, and he says, oh, yeah, this is my first time here, and Pastor Tom led me to the Lord, and now I'm a pastor, and he really helped me through some really difficult times. I said, you're kidding, that's amazing. And then another couple, they were talking, and they go, oh, yeah, so anyhow, we now have this new ministry, and we live in Pastor Tom's old house. He just gave us his old house, and we're living there now, and we have this just really cool thing that we're doing. I'm like, no way. And then, literally, just like another day later, this guy comes up to me, and he says, oh my goodness, you're not going to believe this. I noticed Pastor Tom across the way. I haven't seen him in 10 years. I walked up to him and I said, do you remember me? And he said, no, I don't. And he said, well, you gave me the gospel 10 years ago, and I got saved right there on the spot. And now I'm a pastor, and I have this awesome ministry, and I'm here at this conference. And all of a sudden, I thought, he's a simple man. Those words came back to me. But he's a simple man. And I thought, well, make me a simple woman. Because what in heaven's name? This guy and his wife, what they are doing for the gospel. Because they're doing it for the field assigned to them. He doesn't care about the world's measuring stick. He doesn't even really know about it, probably. It doesn't matter to him. He's going to boast in the Lord, not in all these other things.